Welcome to Headcased Headliners, and once again, I'm CM Commando, your host. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not showing myself in live action for this episode. There are two reasons for that. One is that my room in the flat I live in right now is a broom cupboard, and filming in it could prove to be a pain. Secondly, a few friends have had some thoughts on our article tonight, so tonight they'll be joining me in an open discussion format of commentary. So, with that in mind, friends with opinions, let yourselves be known.
I'm the Dark Drifter, and this is everything that Cameron has ever dreamed of. Being able to introduce himself in a Dark Drifter Productions video.
And I'm Skiffy Kitten, the one who likes the stuff that he hates.
The sad thing is that's pretty much true.
I'm Master 16. It's Halloween, and I'm playing Resident Evil Revelation because Halloween.
Yay!
Woo!
Yay.
Right
so
then.
what's on the plot for tonight?
Right then, as you may know, Pokémon X and Y were released worldwide earlier this month, resulting in millions of people flushing their social lives down the toilet to play with their beloved pocket monsters. Me included. Not that I ever had a social life anyway.
I don't have a 3DS, I has a sad.
I mean, I have a 3DS, but I don't have X or Y, so...
You can download it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Only me and Cameron have it, but you will soon join.
Gosh!
You sounded threatening there, like, you will soon join us.
Oh, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. Let me have that.
Fuck. But PETA, or People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals if you've been living under a rock for the past few years, when they say Pokemon, they see horrible animal abuse plastered all over it. This article is about one abusive parent forcing these flawed beliefs down her own daughter's throat and essentially robbing her of her own freedom. That's bad enough, but we've only touched the surface, so without further ado, let's get on with it.
The problem with PETA is that they don't focus on what's happening, and they focus more on what could happen.
Pretty
Exactly.
much.
I mean, this is what they do, essentially. And if anyone is a PETA supporter and listening right now, prepare for this. Or if you're from PETA yourself, I don't give a shit. So, you guys kind of believe that Pokemon encourages animal abuse. I'm sorry. I know I've said this before, but they're not real. Stop acting like they're fucking real. They are pocket monsters. They are monsters that you put in your pocket. And don't give me the bullshit that we don't give a shit. We would treat them as badly as we treat animals.
Hold
It's
on a minute.
bullshit.
We haven't even started the article, Michelle, but...
I know, but it just irritates me. Because it's just the very idea just to bring up something fake when there's plenty of more important things they could be dealing with. It's just, bloody hell, come on, Peter, sort yourselves out.
I just had a revolutionary idea just suddenly now.
Let's raise up people's army and seize control of the state?
No, that's not what I was thinking. You know how Gen 1ers are always whining about how, the new Pokemon all suck, it's like ice cream and gears and shit.
Yes.
We can use that argument against PETA. A Gen 1 argument is valid. I never thought I'd say that.
I mean, one of the new Pokemon is a sword.
So?
It's not an animal last time I
That's
checked.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like
it
that.
is.
But anyway,
Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying PETA is, you know,
extreme.
Yeah, it's like sword abuse, really.
Anyway,
if you actually a PETA supporter, what's wrong with you?
right then, let's start reading, because that's what we usually do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
With the recent release of Pokemon X and Y, buzz towards the franchise has hit a point not seen since its conception. Not everyone's enjoying the refound popularity, though, as PETA is once again aiming their attention towards Nintendo and the game industry.
You hear that?
Yes.
That's the sound of the people who are surprised.
Yeah, quiet.
I find it very odd how it's mostly Nintendo they tend to pick on.
And the fast food chain, but...
Because it's because it gets some traffic, and Nintendo's a really big, company.
Well...
You think they would look into Sega at some point and say, "Oh, I don't like Robotnik because he traps animals in them robots." But no, they go for the completely most illogical route.
To be honest, PETA only go after stuff if it's guaranteed to give them a ton of publicity. So, why are we surprised? We're not. But well. Okay, in a recent blog post by Miranda Bryant, after being confronted by a lawyer, we learned that we had the wrong name here. Miranda wrote that her teenage daughter had received a Nintendo 3DS with Pokemon Y from a friend for her birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, considering how expensive the 3DS is, that's some friend. Get a 2DS, it's cheaper, and yeah. She continued by saying that she'd originally heard of Pokémon from her eldest daughter many years ago due to her wanting the leaf green version of the game. Good, you're getting the remakes. The originals suck.
Here they come. Here come the Gen 1ers.
Come at me, bro! Anyway. According to her, she nearly bought the game for her daughter until she saw the connection between greenleaf and marijuana.
And this is where stuff got
Yeah, we
started.
go.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Hate you already.
Right. Pretty much.
That's that.
So if
Okay.
she is an animal rights activist, why does she care about drugs?
Because clearly the only green leaf in the entirety of nature is marijuana. That's pretty much saying that steel type Pokemon are related to bombs.
A few of them can use explosion, so why am I not surprised?
Fair enough. But it's PETA, so we'll just take that for granted and move on, shall we?
Okay.
Mm.
My daughter may have become a serial killer, or worse, an animal abuser.
Okay.
She
I'll
needs to
stop
sort
you
out
there
her
because
priorities.
What? I mean, all I can say right now to that is what the actual fuck? How? I mean, people have had this argument for years over video games in general. Do things like Grand Theft Auto turn you into a serial killer? No, because that's like saying, "Oh, what's he been doing? Oh no, he's running around collecting rings dressed as a blue hedgehog because he saw one do it." It's just a ridiculous argument at the end of the day. But if you're gonna turn around and say she could become a serial killer because she plays with Pokemon or an animal abuser, like bullshit. There's kids younger than her who've played Pokemon. You don't see them around going stab, 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 die, die, die. You don't see them doing that, do you?
So essentially, this woman is Jack Thompson with a vagina.
Yes.
The only reason why people blame Grand Theft Auto is because the person in question is either incredibly insane or just uses an excuse to get out of trouble.
If people were
That's the only reason.
If people were legitimately influenced by video games, I'd be cruising around space checking Quarians.
We all would.
Alright, moving on. If I had bought her the game, she recalled, I considered suing Nintendo right then for causing me so much distress all those years ago. Are there even any Christians at Nintendo?
Because as we all know, Christians are completely pure.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Look at the Bible. It's full of contradictions.
And incest.
And incest.
Exactly, incest, and they always say like, oh, certain words that people say today are never said in the Bible. Yet you find the word ass in there over 37 times. So yeah.
Is there incest in Pokemon?
No, there isn't. Is there abuse in Pokemon? Yeah, from the villains. It's the villains that are the problem. And if you cannot see that, you do not do your research.
Okay.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Speaking
that's
of
the main thing.
research-
They don't do research.
Right, speaking of research, deciding to do some research about the new Pokemon games, she came across the recently aired Pokemon Origins series, which she described as telling the story as of the first computer games in the form of a Japanese cartoon.
Well, she's got that right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
Right. Curiosity quickly turned to outrage, though, as she witnessed the scene where a small dog and her puppy are chased by some poachers, and they end up cornering the baby dog.
I hate you so much. Not a dog.
Well, it was then she noticed that the puppy had no seal on its head, and its skull was visible, which made it clear to her that these poachers must have abused these poor creatures for science experiments.
Jesus.
She went on to describe that the puppy eventually got away, but had to listen as these vile men beat her mother to death. Yeah, that's Marowak, all right.
Yeah.
Further angered, she then went on to describe another scene where a turtle was being forced to mate with an orange dinosaur. Jesus Christ, breeding doesn't work that way.
Oh yeah, because biting the neck of a dinosaur is breeding, I guess.
Besides, they couldn't mate. They weren't anywhere near a daycare center.
But I'm gonna let this
Or
out.
Ditto.
I don't think even Origins would go as far as subjecting its viewers to watch two Pokemon mate.
Wow. Moving on.
It's not even like their penises are shown or anything, so what the fuck are you talking about, PETA?
Unfortunately, this was not a beautiful scene of animal lovemaking. Beautiful scene? As it turned out, the turtle was actually attacking the dinosaur.
Oh no shit.
Well, she said that the scream the dinosaur let out was as it was being tortured still rings in her ears and made her physically sick, you melodramatic cow. I haven't been able to sleep for days because of watching this, you melodramatic cow.
I mean, sure, it's kind of a death-piercing, it's a death scream, but still, it wouldn't, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
Once again, lady, they're not real.
The people who own these animals just stand around and watch while this slaughter is going on. It's barbaric.
There's no blood. He's just biting his neck.
Squirtle doesn't even have. Squirrel doesn't even appear to have teeth, so he's not even biting. He's just sort of numbing on his neck. I'm not even entirely sure why Charmander's even screaming. He's just like, get off! That's disgusting. God damn it, Squirrel! Now people are gonna ship us.
I do remember that bit though as well.
Shipping them since 1998, I bet. But
okay, yeah, I do agree that forcing animals to fight is cruel and it is bad. I'm against it, but come on, if it's not real, and that's the idea for video game entertainment, how the hell is it going to teach kids bad morals? It's not. No video game ever does that.
Yeah, the Squirtle turns into Blastoise. Here comes Mongo.
Exactly.
Right.
Messed it all up.
Right then, moving on. She ended the post with the following. After a brief argument, I was able to wrestle my daughter's Nintendo away from her and broke it in half, you melodramatic cow.
Your daughter is going to resent you.
You don't
Forever.
say.
Forever. I would resent you for... If my mother did that, oh my god. I wouldn't even talk to her for like years.
I would move out. I would move out of the house and say goodbye. I don't want to see you again until you realise what you've done. Okay, I know it sounds like it's just because of the video game breaking, but it's actually a bit deeper than that, as you'll probably find out as you keep reading. And you'll know.
Yes, I flushed that horrible Pokemon game down the toilet with my cat's droppings. Well, hang on a minute.
But
she did her research purely on Pokemon Origins.
Only on Pokemon Origins.
And Kalos has nothing to do with it, as far as I know, but...
Apart from the fact that you can choose a Gen 1 Pokemon at the start as well as the new one.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's just like a very thin line.
Yes. I banned her from any video games and anything Pokemon related, and told her that she's never going to see the boy who bought the game for her ever again. And I'll be homeschooling her from now on.
Okay, this is the part that legitimately got me pissed off. Up to this point, I thought, all right, maybe this is just one or two things: a troll post or just a PETA member just being a usual, well, for lack of a better term, PETA member. But this is going further than what I've seen from PETA. A lot of the time, from what we've seen, they've been kind of passive aggressive. They've made shitty flash games. They've done protests which have offended people. They've objectified women and they fat shamed. You know what? That's all been passive. That hasn't affected anyone in particular. Then we get to this. This is essentially abuse. The fact that she's going to be homeschooling her is even worse, considering how she's going to be homeschooling her through her biased opinions. She shouldn't be Instagramming about what her mother did to her 3DS. She should be calling the police.
Exactly. She should turn around and say, "You are ruining my life. You destroyed a birthday present from a dear friend. You are not allowing me to see my friend again, or any of my other friends for that matter, because you pulled me out of freaking school."
All right.
So yes, I think she is going to definitely resent her.
Brian now says that she is having meetings with her lawyers about suing Nintendo and McDonald's as sponsors.
Good luck with that.
Good luck. You have been trying to boycott McDonald's for years, Peter. When are you going to realise that you're not going to win?
Well, the reason being, they're not really suing McDonald's for producing meat, yeah? But they're sponsoring Pokemon Origins for emotional trauma, home tuition fees for her daughter, and the price of the broken handheld.
Really? That's the reason for bringing McDonald's into this? It's like, come on. They do this with every, fucking new thing that comes out. It's like, this isn't new. Why do you just leave McDonald's alone? Leave McDonald's alone. They're not doing anything wrong.
Okay, but fortunately this has somewhat of a happy ending. Sources also say that Bryant recently filed for divorce after catching her husband hiding in the bathroom on the toilet playing the game. He apparently told her to fuck off.
What?
He apparently told her to fuck off as he was about to catch a shiny Mr. Mime.
Ah!
Yes, this guy is awesome.
Ah,
Brian's daughter needs to go with him because clearly he knows how to be a parent.
mm,
He doesn't care about what goes on in those games, or in this case, what goes on in Origins, because that's exactly what Pokemon's all about. Sure, it's based on the original games, but we've come a long way.
mm. See, I'm honest. I don't really give a shit about what happens to this woman. She can worship whatever god she's created in her mind. But the instant she brings a child into this, especially their own, that's me turning around and saying, I am done with you. I just don't want to have anything to do with you. You can go off and go to hell for all I care, and you can have people giving their opinions to you, and you can be as biased as you fucking like in the rest of your life. But you do not teach your kids your biased ways. They have a mind of their own. If she wants to be with her dad and stay the fuck away from you, it's better for her. And as they always say, parents know best. But you clearly are a parent who does not know best. So her father does, because he knows how to have a good time and bond with his child. So fuck you.
The sooner the PETA is recognized as a terrorist group, the better.
Exactly.
Alright. So, I think everybody said what they had to. I don't really have much to say because I've been a little bit busy about this thing, but... Well, that wraps up episode 4 of Headcase Headliners. I've been CM Commando, and... those have been the other guys who introduced themselves earlier. I can't be bothered to recite the names right now, I'm sorry.
Will you let us go now? Because you've been trapping me in this basement and feeding me nothing but peaches for 5 days.
Yeah, I kind
Stop the ponies!
I kind of just scratch my nose, Cameron, and I can't do that with my wrist strapped to the chair.
You motherfucker, you took away my goddamn spaghetti. What's wrong with you?
Goodbye!
You pelonka!